that are taxpayers out of business. We just had a brand-new swim club built up on Howell Road. Okay, this facility is also going to have a swim pool facility at some point. I don't know what the comparison is. I don't want to compare. But you do have the impact of possibly putting other small businesses out of business because of this. So now you're taking one rateable, as you're putting it, and taking away from another. I just want you to consider everything, not that this is just a great rateable. It could be. But you don't know that. Nobody knows that it's going to work in this economy. You don't know that it's going to work. So they build half the buildings, and in 5 years now who knows what could happen? You just don't know. So please take that into consideration. Please take also into consideration what it does to all the other zonings in the town if this does open up Pandora's box. Thank you for the late hour, for spending your time.
Thank you. Mr. Koskin.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. By the way, I should have gone before her.
You know,
That's a joke.
Best I can,
That's a
Mr.
joke.
Koskin. Please don't try me this
Mr.
time.
Mayor, you're doing a good job. I'm not.
Please don't try me
I'm
this
just saying.
time.
Well, I got to say what I got to say. Anyway, I'm going to just make some observation. I'm going to go sit down.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, not until I make the observations.
Thank you,
one of
sir.
them is that the Mac Center is 1.5 times the size of the Blue Claw Stadium. That's pretty large. That's
1.5 times the size
yes,
of the
sir.
Blue Claw Stadium.
Exactly. Yes, Mr. Mayor. 1.5 times the size.
Does the Blue Claw Stadium seat about 7,000?
Doesn't matter. I was down there. I paced it off. I know what I'm talking about. Check it out. Number two, I want to.
Hold on now.
Huh?
Hold on.
Check it out. 1.5 times. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, the
I still
lady
haven't
was.
gotten over that.
Pardon?
I still haven't gotten over
Check
that.
it out. Check it out.
I still haven't gotten
went
over
around.
that.
Okay, well, I don't want to keep you here all night, so you can check it out, and you'll find out that I'm correct.
Okay.
Second thing is, the lady brought up the swim club. I fought against that swim club that was being put in the ARE 6 zone across from a 65-acre preserve farm. But when it was done and it was knocked down, I went to him. I didn't have to do it, but I went to him and I said, you know, Mr. So-and-so, I'll help find you another place that's more suitable. I just didn't like it here. I'm happy to have it someplace else. He got it on his own, so I didn't really have to help him, but I was willing to.
Just because you're a nice guy.
Because I try to do the right thing every day of my life. I have no problem with the MAC athletic complex, but not that high and not in that area. But you've heard that. That's been an underlying theme the whole night. Someone did mention that the people that are against it are against everything and whatever. The people that are against it are the same people that live in the area. The people that are not against it have every right to speak also and have a right to their opinion, but they're not necessarily from the same area. They're from a different area. I'm just making an observation, a point. Doesn't need any refutation.
I don't think anybody,
Okay.
nobody from the governing body alluded to that at all, have they?
No, I didn't say you did. I said it was said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was just said not that long ago. That's fine.
All right.
The other thing I have an observation.
I believe I said then also, I don't think that's true. A lot of the people that spoke tonight had nothing to do with being against BJ's. Didn't I say that then, though?
I couldn't, I wouldn't say you didn't. I just don't remember hearing all of it.
I did.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. The only other little thing is, I'm going to cross out what I said it smells like, because I said it before anybody else said it, so I'll shut that up. The other thing was, I heard one of the members of the planning board that I know does his homework, Mr. Nicastro, because I've been over to his house many times, because we work together on different things. That man has all those notes out, all those plans out. He agonizes all day. As he said to me one time, I said, "You're here still doing this?" He said, "You know, thank God I'm retired." He's still working, but I mean, he's retired, so he has time to do that. So he does his homework very well, probably more so than anybody else that I can think of in the area. Other observation, and I'll get ready to sit down, is that there's one thing I noticed. And I noticed, I don't see all the professionals here, and that's okay. I noticed that when, and I was keeping count, you messed me up, Mr. Vislaki, because you changed it on me, but that's okay. That's not a bad thing. everybody that got up and was speaking against it, the people up here on the dais I'm going to tell you what I observed, a body language and an attitude that you were ready to refute everything that was said.
Please,
You
Mr.
messed me up
Costigan.
because you didn't.
Please, please,
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And the
Please.
people that were up here,
I'm
I'm
reading
gonna,
body reading.
when you
Please
get
stop
done,
that.
I have a right to my opinion and my observation. I got eyeballs, and I've been around a long time. As a matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, in 1969, I was the chairman of the master plan committee in another planning board in another town, just so you know. I've been around a long time. I watch things, I sit in the back so I can watch the panoramic view, and I think I have a good set of eyeballs. But anyway, so I want to finish what I have to say. Those that came up that were for it, for the most part, and again, it got destroyed a little bit towards the end, I'm going to tell you what my observation was in my opinion. They got cream puffs, just as the media does for the present president, but wouldn't do for the past president. And that's all I wanted to say. Have a good evening. We'll
God
see
bless
you.
you, Mr.
We'll see you in the hustings.
God bless you, Mr. Costigan. Mrs. Smith, come on. Mrs. Smith will be the last speaker unless anybody else wants.
Who was this gentleman that went in the back room with?
I am not that intelligent of a person to be able to.
Who was this guy that just came out?
Hold on. Mrs. Dixell, please. Mrs. Smith.
Pauline Smith, 54 Vanderveer Road. I just would like,
Shh. I'm not,
it's okay.
everybody. Barbara? Please, everybody have courtesy for each other.
A couple of simple statements, and then I have a question. Traffic, the subject of traffic, back and forth. Curtis is exactly right. I had it drummed into my head years and years ago. But I was also taught in Rutgers college courses for zoning and planning and the New Jersey Planners Association seminars and courses. And personally, it's been my benefit to have mentors who were, unfortunately they've all passed on, very ethical, and I'm not intimating that other attorneys aren't, but these were extra special people in the land use field. And one thing that I was taught was, at the time of zoning is when you consider traffic. So it is relevant tonight. It's very important tonight. The traffic, that's part of what you base your zoning on and your consideration. The impact of the traffic. So in my opinion, it's relevant tonight. Also, I'd like to relate, and thinking about it, Mr. Sonnenblatt happened to be the attorney involved. I was on the planning board when the Adelphia Greens case was before us. And I disagreed with the traffic expert. And that was brought up in court. And part of Judge Lawson's decision was to uphold what I said. In his opinion, the reason for local people to be appointed planning boards is to give their view and their observation. So mine counted in that particular instant, just right up there with the traffic expert. And so our case stood. Those are the two things that I wanted to relate to you. It's really important. This is the time of decision of zoning is when you consider the traffic impact, and it will be a terrible impact. Now, my question, why?
So just let me understand something. It was brought up before that our police department, our traffic department had already done a study and said it wouldn't have a negative impact.
I wasn't talking about that. I was just,
Okay,
I
I'm just
think
asking.
Mrs. Dalton got my point, that it's time, this is the time that you consider the zoning.
Okay.
The traffic is in zoning.
Okay.
That's all I said.
All right, thank you.
And my one question is, why did you call Don